This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Do you take this woman as your lawful wedded wife?
Ooh, yeah! Oh,
Place the ring on her finger and repeat after me. With this ring,
no. With this ring,
I thee wed.
I thee wed.
Hello and welcome to With This Ring number 26. I'm your co-host Ryan Everett.
I'm your co-host Cindy Everett.
And tonight we will continue our look into the WCW Greatest Wrestler Ever, and we're looking at the Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
Yeah, and this is someone who I had really no prior knowledge of to this journey that we're on.
Right.
So, because did he ever wrestle in WWE?
For about a year.
When?
Like in mid 88, him and Tully Blanchard were the NWA Tag Team Champions, and they wanted a pay raise, and they weren't given it, so they gave their notice right away, and like the next night they lost the titles on a house show and showed up in WWF, and they were pretty successful. They were there for a year. They wrestled off and on, and they were tag champs for about 4 months, which was pretty good back then. Yeah,
especially for your first year.
Yeah, and they lost the titles, and then within 2 weeks of losing the titles, they jobbed out a couple TV matches and were gone. And Arn Anderson went back to WCW, but right after they put in their releases, drug test results came out where Tully Blanchard flunked for cocaine.
Oh.
So he was suspended by WWF.
Is that a performance-enhancing drug? Cocaine?
Well, it's an illegal drug, at the very least. It probably helps you stay more alert in the ring, I guess. But
okay.
But because of this, WCW didn't rehire Tully Blanchard. And that created a whole big thing where Tully Blanchard, basically his career ended right then and there.
Yeah, I was going to say another name I didn't really know about until we started this. Really? Is Tully Brand? Not to go on
I mean, he's in AEW nowadays. He's a manager because everyone is. Yeah. So is Arn Anderson, actually.
Really? Okay, so Arn Anderson's still alive.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Up with their post WCW career, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel about him the same way I thought about Lex Luger, good wrestler, relatively good promoter,
right?
But not I don't want to say gimmicky, but there's nothing about them that really sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, I think for Arn Anderson though, it's almost that is his thing. He is an an
everyman.
Yeah, we watched. So the first match we watched technically in chronological order. It took a while to get there. It was from 1983. No, he's not 17 in that match.
1983, he was really young.
1983, he was 25.
Okay. So he was always a little on the older side.
Yeah,
too.
He was always on the older side, and he always looked the same.
That's true.
In 1983, he looks pretty much maybe 2 years younger than he did in 1997.
Yeah, I can make that comment to you. I know, remember when we did Sting, talk about change in look, but yeah, he looked pretty consistent.
Yeah, well, Arn Anderson is one of those guys that, I mean, the only difference is how much of a comb-over he had compared to, the end where he didn't really have a comb-over at all.
True.
But, I mean, it was always, he's just a guy who turned old prematurely, but then he's...
Longevity.
I mean, he's looked the same now for 35 years, so good for him, I guess.
I was going to say, yeah. I'd be okay looking like this for the next 35 years. Right?
Exactly, yeah. I was just taking a drink. That's why it took me a while to reply. So, yeah. So, we, for actual matches we watched, we bookended the Rock and Roll Express.
I mean, every other match is the Rock and Roll Express, I feel like.
No, there was just two of them this time.
Oh, okay. We watched other Rock and
Yeah,
Roll
we also watched. Yeah, you're confusing the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express.
A lot of expresses in the 80s.
The 80s were big on expresses.
Very quick.
WWF had the U.S. Express.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, all right. If you ever want a throwback trivia name.
Yep. Something Express. So, but the first thing we saw was Starrcade 86.
Mm-hmm.
The Anderson, cousins.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing. Like,
well, why? I just don't understand. Like,
so,
why to bother changing? We don't care
in like
enough
the late 60s, early 70s, there was, I forgot which one it was, but Lars or Gene Anderson was actually named Anderson and actually from Minnesota. So they came into the territory and there was someone that looked like him, so they decided to become brothers.
Okay.
And then after a while, one of them got too old and like wanted to retire, so they brought in Ole Anderson, who is some Polish name from Georgia. He's not.
Gotcha.
He's not an Anderson from Minnesota, but he looked enough like them that they kind of were like, oh yeah, he's Ole Anderson. He's Lars's brother or cousin or whatever. And then the other one retires, so it's just Ole Anderson. And then Arn Anderson comes around and he looks kind of like Ole Anderson.
But he's also from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they just move the Anderson lineage to
Well, no,
Georgia?
the Andersons, they're the Minnesota stretching crew. They can't be moving all around.
Oh, I can't be moving to Georgia?
No.
Where they're both from?
Yeah, well, that's fine, but...
They can't have like a distant cousin in Georgia?
No, that'd be... You can't have a Yankee with a Confederate. That'd screw everything up.
Yep.
More ways than one. So, yeah, the Starrcade, though, cage match against the Rock and Roll Express.
Boys.
Yep. And it's a cage match, but the rules are just first pinfall wins it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess cage matches, especially when the cage is too low, you can't really do a lot of, fast, high-flying moves. Definitely more of a brawl.
Yeah.
I would say that's more of Arn Anderson's style. They didn't, go off the top rope too much in these matches.
Yeah, not these.
But yeah, normally it's just a lot of chops and punches.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's pretty good, though. It's kind of it's very... Even for a cage match, it's pretty technical because that's kind of what the Andersons would do in every match. Like, they just take a body part, like an arm or a leg, and just work it over. So they're kind of even doing that even in the confines of the steel cage.
Yeah, when they did use the cage, I think one of Ricky Morton got pretty cut up.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh, and the crowd loved Rock and Roll Express, they win. They kept fighting after the bell. And the crowd was
the Andersons attacking. Yeah. And then actually, we won't see it, but 2 nights later on the weekend Saturday show, the Rock and Roll Express had to defend the tag titles against Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez and lost the titles because they were so beat up in this match. And I think in some of the Arn Anderson, the Four Horsemen promos we watched, I think he even makes mention of that, Fernandez and Ravishing, you're only the champs because we beat down the Rock and Roll Express so bad.
Yeah. And he was decent kind of talker for
promos. I think he was, promos, we'll get to that later when we do the overall
that's true.
breakdown. But I think it's right to say that he was good in that role. And then the next one we watched was a singles match, him versus the Great Muta from early 1990, where he wins the TV title from Great Muta. And the Muta was undefeated 2 weeks before this, going into the pay-per-view, where he lost twice. But this was his first loss on regular TV, at least. So
Great Muta?
Yes.
Is he going to be one of their wrestlers? I guess not, because we're already to the end of this year.
Yeah, he won't. I mean, because he'll make my list for sure, because he's 1989, he was basically there the whole year. And then 90s there the first couple months, and then 91, 92, 93, he's always in the big, we watched one of the Sting matches, the big Japan, New Japan matches. He was always one of the headliners of that. So, and then in 97 he came in for a little bit. I think 2000 he comes in for a little bit. So he always
pops up every
when he was born in Japan, he'd be like, I want to go to the USA for 3 months. I guess I'll pretend I'm in WCW.
Yeah, there you go. I guess it's want to travel a little bit.
Yeah.
What did I say about this one? Dragon Master comes to the ring. Who's the
yes,
Dragon Master?
he's a fat Japanese guy who wasn't very good at wrestling.
That's right. Oh yeah, backbridge submission move. Yeah, MUTA did a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
in this one.
yeah. MUTA actually, does.
He does everything.
What would eventually be called cattle mutilation by Daniel Bryan.
Called what?
Cattle mutilation.
Oh.
The backbridge
Gotcha.
submission hold.
I gotcha. Why is it called cattle mutilation?
I don't know. I guess that's how you kill a cow or something. I
It's
don't know.
kind of what it implies, isn't it? But then, that's why he jumped off and Arn Anderson kind of stopped him with his knees and they covered him.
Then hit the DDT. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then this was kind of Arn Anderson, for quite a while, he was, if he wasn't doing anything, he was the TV champ.
Ugh.
And that's kind of
So he must have been a good worker, just nose clean,
exactly,
literally and figuratively.
Yeah,
right?
And everyone, that's why he was TV champ. Okay, he's going to be able to go out every week and have a 10-minute match that's passable, but,
yeah,
depending with who we put him with, but
that's good. You need your consistent workers.
Yeah, and that's, I definitely think, what he has always kind of been viewed as.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to be the Flash. Just gotta be consistent. Right in that meaty part of the
right.
curve.
Yep. Right. Not showing off. Not falling behind. I think Arn Anderson kind of rolls with that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
slightly ahead of the curve.
He's out of the curve in actual wrestling talent, but in the looks part, he's in the meaty part.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking before we started recording, his middle-aged accountant look.
Yes, yeah.
The pleated chinos, the weird tinted glasses.
Tinted glasses,
polos.
yeah.
That's a look.
Oh yeah, he pulls it off, I think.
Well, yeah, because it's
good enough.
So bland.
Then next we watched was Barry Windham versus Arn Anderson from WCW Saturday Night.
Yep.
And this one about
2 or 3 falls.
Yeah, 2 or 3 falls. So
also then this is Paul E. Dangerously,
yes,
not Paul Heyman. Paul E.
Dangerously. The Dangerous Alliance, the height of the Dangerous Alliance.
Oh, I said a lot of whining, not too much fighting at the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of stalling tactics and whatnot. Yeah,
it is interesting to see. Either starts very, very slow, or they lock up right away.
Right. Yeah, I think it kind of depends on what kind of match you're going to go for and who's. Here, it's very clear that they want to make sure that everyone knows Barry Windham is the good guy, Arn Anderson is the heel.
And I also think 2 out of 3 falls, you can't really go and swing too hard.
Right, yeah, you got to kind of pace it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, the match was over a half hour, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wrote that slower pace. Just said Paul Heyman is acting like a fool.
Yes, he does that.
And yeah, I think Barry Windham had kind of the upper hand most of the match. And he said he was the
right
at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was kind of a little different swing there, where usually the heels take more of an advantage, but
especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
But Paul Heyman still had his giant phone.
Oh yeah.
He smacked. Was it Barry Windham?
Yes.
Why did he smack as the guy he was promoting?
No, he was with Arn Anderson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I said Paul whacked Barry in the back with his giant phone. Very sick.
And it was during the 3rd fall. Because each had won their first fall pretty cleanly, even Anderson hit his spine buster
right
clean and won, and then the 2nd fall or the 3rd fall they were pulling everything out.
Right. Well then it ends with Stunning Steve coming out.
Yeah, and then it kind of just ends to a no contest.
I don't know. I guess I've seen enough now. I know there's a lot of shenanigans, but I kind of like the clean endings better.
Yeah, that's usually that's why there's some matches 2001 SummerSlam. It's Curt Hennig versus Steve Austin, or actually a match you've seen: Mankind versus Shawn Michaels. Remember that? I know we've watched that.
Remind me about it.
It's just that's the thing. It's one of the best matches ever, but the ending is a really shitty. Vader runs in for a DQ.
Yeah.
So it's very unsatisfying, but the 25 minutes before it were
good. Yeah.
At that time they were transcendent North American wrestling. But really it hadn't been done. It was Japan style almost style wrestling. But the ending is just the worst farting,
Yeah. Turn the punch bowl.
Turn in the punch bowl ending. So it's it was perfect for 25 minutes, but it's 26 and a half minutes, and the last minute and a half sucks.
Kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
Well, this match was not transcendent.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was good. It wasn't that good.
Right. No, it's fine. So what was... Oh, it was, I don't know. Was he usually a heel? Like, it just changes so much. Even like we were just watching...
Arn Anderson, for the most part, is a heel always. I mean, just...
Because the Four Horsemen are always bad.
Well,
Heel.
Usually. Like,
see? It's hard to keep track.
We'll get into that. Like, so... Throughout the whole 80s, the Four Horsemen and Arn Anderson, just total dickholes.
Right.
Then in 89, Ric Flair at first is by himself, and he's feuding with Terry Funk, who's crazy.
Yeah.
So Sting like kind of helps Ric Flair because
he flies from Chicago to...
Well, that's much later. That's much later, and that's when he's against Ric Flair. You're getting all confused.
Well, I don't know.
But 89, like there's Terry Funk and Ric Flair. Ric Flair wins, and the Great Muta comes out to attack him to attack Ric Flair with Terry Funk. So Sting comes out because he had fought the Great Muta earlier. So it's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So the two of them team up, and then late 1989, the Andersons come back in, reform the Four Horsemen, and for a while they're faces, and Sting is part of them. And then Sting asks for a title shot because he wins a tournament at Starrcade, and the Andersons turn on him, and Ric Flair turns on him, and the Horsemen turn
heel.
heel.
For not remembering all this.
Of course.
I'm sure we've covered parts of this.
We have, yeah.
I don't know, like the Four Horsemen are always around. I never know if they're good or bad or who's in.
They're
who's
usually
out.
bad until in 93 then.
Okay.
Well, he goes to the Dangerous Alliance.
Who's in the Dangerous Alliance?
Well,
Dangerously.
So 1990 is in the Four Horsemen.
How have you not written a book yet?
There's plenty of books to write. Arn Anderson has a book and it's pretty bad because it's all in kayfabe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's Arn Anderson.
Does he need money? Is this about money?
Is this about money? No, I guess he needs money, but not too
we
much.
All need money, but
I think he's doing all right. I mean, he's still on TV almost every week.
Oh yeah.
He's doing his podcast with Conrad Thompson. People there making money.
Should we guest on our podcast?
I don't think I'd be able to pull Arn Anderson.
Why not? Is he really that busy?
Well, he's busy. He's got to go to TNA and talk to Cody Rhodes.
Talk to JT and see if we can get Arn Anderson to show up.
So, but anyways, I don't know where we were.
The Four Horsemen.
Oh, so the Four Horsemen in 1990 and 1991, he's in the Four Horsemen, and then summer of 1991, Ric Flair is like, fuck this WCW shit, leaves.
Hey, are you allowed to...
Yeah, we get the E.
Oh, okay.
Rating.
Oh, we should be cursing more often then.
Yeah. Ric Flair pieces out of WCW. Arn Anderson's left, alone.
Oh.
So he eventually teams with Larry Zbyszko.
He can't really, no offense to him, but he's more like a team guy.
Yeah, he's a team guy.
Because of the nature of his role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teams with Arn Anderson. Or teams with Larry Zbyszko. They have a great match that we watched at Clash of the Champions. It was 20 or 30 years ago yesterday.
Oh.
From our recording. Him and when Ricky Steamboat comes out in the big dragon outfit.
Oh, yeah.
And take it off. And Arn Anderson's like, no! He's just a man! He's just a man! But he's not just a man. He's Ricky Steamboat who can beat Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
And then...
So, why don't we do a month of Ricky Steamboat?
I was thinking of it, but we watched all the Ric Flair matches.
Right. I think we've covered him indirectly.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those guys that
him and the Great Muta we've covered indirectly. That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll get to with Arn Anderson when we're doing the ratings and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we covered with him already that I think should be factored into that.
Okay.
All right, but right now
what are we talking about now?
Well, first we'll take a quick break. Okay. We'll recover. We're at the point where Arn Anderson is in Dangerous Alliance with Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko.
That's a good
group, but then there's dissension in the group, and eventually they break up.
Oh, okay. This is also the drunkest and most tipsy I've ever been for a recording.
That's beautiful. All right,
and
we'll be back.
Full disclosure.
All right, real quick before we keep going, I want to tell you about some of the great things on the Place to Be Nation. Please rate, review, and subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Just search Place to Be Wrestling Network. We have plenty of great content for you here at the Place to Be. the Place to Be podcast, the mothership of the Place to Be Nation, where co-hosts JT Rosero and Scott Criscolo take you chronologically through the history of WWE.
PTB and Main Event with hosts Scott Criscolo, Nate Milton, and Steve Will, breaking down all the current events in the world of wrestling.
Talking WCW heads to Center Stage Theater, where Tim Capel, Greg Phillips, Jennifer Smith pay tribute to the legendary promotion from the Dirty South.
Do we do a promo for our own show?
No, we can skip that one.
Highway to the Impact Zone, where Logan Crossland and Jacob Williams discuss the era of TNA, starting with the birth of the Impact TV show.
The NWA Saturday Special, where Scott Criscolo and George Dr. G. Ribello talk both current and classic National Wrestling Alliance.
Plus monthly WWE PPV reaction shows and semi-regular shows like Jenny and the Gems, PTB NXT, Adams Division, Special Relations, Chicken Salad, Senior Video, NWA Crock and Roll, Extreme Resurrection, and more.
Yep. And also, make sure to listen to our quad of pods. We have the PTB Pop Experience, is all about pop culture. We have the best in TV, movies, comics, trivia shows, and much more.
Jennifer Smith is always in the Jenny position with her unique takes on pop culture and life. Her feed is loaded with great shows ranging from movies, books, Marvel, and more. If you are interested in doing a pop culture podcast, Jenny wants to talk to you. Reach out to her on Twitter at JennyPosition to learn more.
Also make sure to join JT Rosero, Aaron George, and Chad Campbell for great shows on wrestling, comics, and more with the North-South Connection feed. Check out the histories of WWE, TNA, and other great wrestling topics and takes.
Also, Glenn and Scott Butler are continuing their spectacular journey through music, films, and more on the Non-Toxic Fanboys podcast, where they try to enjoy the things they love. Find them at Non-Toxic Fanboys on Twitter, nontoxicfanboys.com, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And make sure to join the rejuvenated Place to Be discussion group on Facebook. Go to Facebook, look up Place to Be, and request an invite. Discussions and fun with wrestling, movies, tournaments, and all forms of pop culture.
Our 2021 stretch project is determining the greatest NWA/WCW wrestler of all time. Go to facebook.com/GWCW and join the group to discuss nominees.
And make sure to check out PlacetoBeNation.com each and every day. We have new voices and fresh takes, bringing you articles on topics in the world of wrestling, sports, and pop culture, including Trent's SmackDown on Fox Report, Paulie's Perspective, and Matt's Disney live-action journey.
And if you're doing some online shopping from Amazon, be sure to click the banner on the right side of the Place to Be Nation homepage or use www.placetobenation.com/Amazon. And it takes you right to Amazon and helps out PT.
We are back. So as we rejoin our hero, Arn Anderson, in this story.
Double A.
So we get back and...
Oh, this is a good one. Arn Anderson and Ric Flair versus Steve Austin.
Right.
Vader.
So, like in early 93, Ric Flair comes back. And first he can't wrestle for a while, so he does the Flair for the Gold, and that's where, like, Arn Anderson is his studio, like, it's Ric Flair's interview segment.
Oh,
and Arn Anderson's
he
had the thing with the Hollywood blondes and whatnot.
That was good. I remember that.
So that's kind of how Ric Flair comes back. He feuds with the Hollywood blondes, and then Arn Anderson eventually teams with bum Paul Roma to fight the Hollywood blonde, and they win the tag titles. But then here we get to a Saturday night where it's supposed to be Ric Flair and Sid against Steve Austin and Vader, and the Kongs attack Sid.
Obviously.
And this becomes kind of important later. We'll talk about it, the reasons for it, because so the match, so Arn Anderson comes out because he's Ric Flair's friend and doesn't want to see Ric Flair get killed by these two people, so they decided to just let Arn Anderson become his tag partner.
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah.
And they have quite the tag match. It goes like a half hour.
Yeah, it was a long match. I think I kind of started. This is the one I fell asleep during. Not because it was boring, because I was tired.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, I did. It was definitely more of a Ric Flair match, I think, than an Arn Anderson.
Well, yeah, it was. They were trying to really push all of a sudden Ric Flair versus Vader, which we'll get into at the end, towards the end of this match, because there's quite a story behind it.
Okay.
So yeah, and it kind of like there's quite a bit where it's just Arn Anderson and Steve Austin in the ring wrestling like scientifically, while Ric Flair and Vader are just fighting all over the arena.
Yeah, I'd say like two parallel matches.
Yeah. So at the end, though, it just kind of cuts off.
Right.
So the thing was...
Yeah, okay, what happened?
So on the original taping, at the end, Sid comes out.
Sid Vicious and like beats up Vader, because Vader set up the attack on him earlier. But... So that's airs on November 13th. On October 26th... Because this was taped, like, way in advance, obviously. Okay.
There was a show in England with Sid and Arn Anderson were on the tour. And in the bar after the show, Sid was like, Arn Anderson never drew any money. I've drawn more money in the last 3 months than he drew in his whole career. And they, like, got in a fight at the bar, but then, like, everyone broke it up. They went to their rooms. Sid goes back to Arn Anderson's room. Pounds on his door. They get in a fight. Arn Anderson Arn Anderson gets a pair of safety scissors. Sid takes them from him and stabs Arn Anderson a bunch.
Whoa.
Arn Anderson blasts Sid in the head with like a chair leg.
Wow.
So in the end, Sid got fired.
Yep.
Arn Anderson got suspended for like 3 months. But this match just airs as is, and they decided like, all right, well, these two fat guys attacking Sid, I guess that's how he's out of the promotion.
Oh.
And we're just going to cut it off until the tape ran out for the ending, because we can't have Sid coming in and making a heroic ending.
Poochie went back to his home planet.
Yep, Poochie went back to his home planet and was still the master and the ruler of the world. And then...
That's quite a story.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Yeah.
That could have ended
it got real. Oh, it should have ended really like a lot, or like one of them should have probably died. I mean
not should have, but
should
like,
have, but could have easily.
Yeah, that was very much a possibility. Yeah. Oof. Oh, all right. Well,
so then
I'm guessing they're not still on good terms.
Well, there've been a few times where like on Nitro a couple of years later, they made sure to make them shake hands to make it be like have it be like a big. It wasn't like acknowledged, but the announcers like, "Oh my God, look at who's shaking hands."
Well, like at the time, did you know this was going on? Like,
I mean, not at that time. 7-year-old Ryan didn't know, but like that was one of the things. The first time you get online, like that you found out about, like if you went to like a wrestling, if you went to like a non-WWF run wrestling thing, that was like one of the things. Like
Ryan's not going to porn; he's going to find.
Yeah, I wanted to find the backstory. I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. I want to know how many goddamn Yokozunas there were, because I was told for sure that one Yokozuna died because he was too fat, so they had to make another one.
Okay, so like,
and there was the rumors of like 7 different Ultimate Warriors. So that's what
you're
I wanted.
Going through all the conspiracy.
I want to know how many people that were dead. I want to see how many bodies, and unfortunately, lots of bodies.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like a different episode.
Yeah.
And there wasn't multiple Sid Viciouses, but there was a very bad fight in England.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well,
but luckily for Arn Anderson, his best friend was the Booker. So
who's his best friend?
Ric Flair.
Oh, like you mean
that's
kayfabe best friend? Or
no,
their actual best friends?
They're actual best friends.
Oh, that's nice.
Or at least like, I mean, I don't know the ranking, but very close friends. So he was able to stick around and eventually kind of work back up into the promotion. And then in like the summer of '95, he's back to kind of teaming with Ric Flair, or more being Ric Flair's kind of like lackey.
Gotcha.
Because like Ric Flair would be facing, Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage.
Notre Dame's from 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so it'd be kind of like he was being like kind of humiliated by Ric Flair, so he ended up challenging him to a match.
Gotcha.
And it was the first time they had a one-on-one match.
I see. Well, the next match we watched, I can swear it was fucking awful.
Okay.
What was the boxing / wrestling.
Oh
match.
yeah, I forgot about. I was
say,
talking up to Fall Brawl. I was like, that's probably Arn Anderson's best singles match of all time.
I knew from the reaction.
I forgot to add that to the spreadsheet.
I knew. So
I was like, what are you talking about?
I can tell you were not a same.
Like, I know it's a technical match, but it's not that bad.
No.
No, yeah, the boxing match is fucking horrible. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, 100%. Why did they do this?
Well, it was uncensored. So you
right.
need all gimmick
Uncensored
matches.
means like TNA, I thought, or like.
Well, no, it means anything goes.
Okay.
So anything goes means a boxer could fight a wrestler.
One of a kangaroo versus a boxer, or a bear versus Arn Anderson.
Bear would eat Arn Anderson's ass.
But yeah, this was bad. I
Yeah.
mean, like, Arn Anderson, like, good for him, making the best of the bad
Yeah, I
situation.
mean, that's kind of...
But, like, Johnny B. Bad could have done, I think, a little...
Yeah, I mean, I think they both do the best they could with...
Which is pretty bad.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, what could they do with... I mean, how are you going to make... Boxer versus wrestler is never good, especially if it's like this, like, super kayfabed.
Right. That's true. Excuse me.
It's always, like, a stupid thing, but I can think they kind of, like... At least they kind of embraced the stupidity of it. That's what I would say. That's why I kind of picked it, because, like...
fun to watch, though.
Oh, yeah, but...
I mean, but I love to hate it now, so I guess...
I think I just kind of got it to show, like, Arn Anderson's willing to do
His
anything.
range. That's true. No, he seems like a good, kind of steady, showing up, reliable. Not showing off, not falling behind.
No, yeah, exactly. I think he's kind of always... You know what you're going to get from him. It's not going to be the best match, but it's not going to be the worst match. And that's...
Right.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, exactly. And that consistency.
Jesus, that guy's fast.
Yeah.
So, next we will look at the match that I was building up to earlier.
Not the boxing?
No, not... I hope you don't call this a horrible fucking match.
No.
The Ric Flair vs. Arn Anderson singles match. The first one they ever do.
Yeah, no, my notes for this one say, good, quick match. Both great wrestlers who were evenly matched. Yep. And then Bobby Heenan called them the Appalachia Mountains. I think you were asleep when that happened.
Yeah, I think I'd fallen asleep for that. I don't know what that means.
Like, he was trying to say Appalachian, I think, but it's like he said Appalachia Mountains. I don't know, it was bizarre. But no, it's a good one. Yeah. Arn Anderson wins.
Because of the... Who comes in?
Oh, I forget. Did I write it down?
Oh, the Brian Pillman comes in and gives a kick to Ric
right.
Flair's head. Right into the DDT that ends it.
Why did Brian Pillman interfere?
Well, because Brian Pillman teams up with Arn Anderson.
Oh, see,
and they start their own 4 horsemen. And then Ric Flair begs Sting to join him in a team. And Sting's like, no, you're just going to double cross me.
And he does.
And Ric Flair continues to beg him.
Uh-huh.
Ric Flair brings out these little kids painted as little stingers. He's like, come on, if you don't want to do it for me, do it for the little stingers. And Ric Flair, and still Sting is like, no, you're just going to double cross me. Then eventually, like, after 4 weeks of it, Sting's like, sure, I'll team with you, but if you double cross me, I'll kill you. The match happens, and right away Ric Flair comes in and beats the hell out of Sting, double crosses him, and the 4 horsemen are reborn.
And then they had that match where Ric Flair had to say goodbye to his family.
Yeah, well, that was 1993.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, but so...
Sorry, I mean...
No, it's...
I got the gist.
Yeah, so Arn Anderson is like part of the Horsemen here, and then eventually we get to 1996, and again, we see our good friends, the Rock and Roll Express,
nice
looking
capper.
Quite a bit more worn than they were in 1985.
Oof, a lot more worn. This was ended strangely. It was a good match. It's a good pace, a lot of action, nice double.
There's
drop
pyros,
kicks.
like I like how there's pyro a minute into the match because it's the second hour Nitro.
I mean, they made some interesting choices with that.
Like they couldn't have timed it that the pyro would go off before the match.
No. I mean, yeah. Well, they made some choices. It's fine.
Yep.
They made some choices, but I don't know. I mean, it was good, and then it just got the whole thing with Bobby Heenan at the end being like, "I want to be a coach,
it was kind of
be a manager." And
well,
he whispered, he got up and went over and talked to Miss Elizabeth, who I did not recognize.
Yeah, you were very surprised when you found out it was Miss Elizabeth.
But that just seemed. I don't know. Was there more context to that I don't have?
I mean, they'd kind of been building up for a couple of weeks that Arn Anderson and Ric Flair wanted Bobby Heenan to be their manager.
Why?
Just because, well, he's like kayfabe, he was like the greatest manager of all time, and also like he had been in the commentary booth with Steve McMichael for the first like 6 months of Nitro, so I guess somehow they thought that would help give them a tactical advantage because reasons. Yeah, that does kind of. It's kind of like they could have done a 10-minute match, but they had the Bobby Heenan stuff to drag it out to like the 16-minute match that it is.
It was a little long.
I agree. It was.
The whole like weird like setup with the food and the champagne.
Well, that was always there in like spring '96 matches because Elizabeth had chosen Ric Flair and Elizabeth.
All the matches.
Like all Ric Flair matches.
Oh, I think you told me this.
Well, it was always in the arena for like nitros and stuff because Elizabeth chose Ric Flair, and Elizabeth and Ric Flair were spending all her alimony money on throwing lavish dinners every nitro.
Obviously.
Because that's how you do it. That's how alimony works.
Yeah, when did they get divorced?
Like 1992. Yeah, or like middle of 92.
How long were they married?
Like 8 years, I think 84. And it was kind of weird because they had been doing an angle on TV where Ric Flair was saying that she was mine before she was yours.
Oh.
And they like Photoshop pictures of like Ric Flair and Randy Savage. It had of Randy Savage and Elizabeth, and they took out Randy Savage and put Ric Flair there.
Weird.
Ric Flair's on like a pool of stars. Like,
that's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, but no, So what happened after this? Because it kind of implied at the end.
So Arn Anderson, I mean, he wrestles a little bit more with just like 4 Horsemen tags and stuff. And then eventually he got a neck injury, where he had to retire in 1997.
Oh.
And that was kind of,
So he just retired, kind of like, and never tried to come back?
I mean, he had like 2 matches in 2000, but anytime he's wrestled since then, it's always been like a really gimmicked match. Like, he's not really wrestling. So yeah, that was legit, like his legitimate retirement speech.
Oh, wow.
That we watched.
Yeah, remember we watched that promo with him with the truck? We didn't talk about that yet.
Yeah.
What was that about? Him trying to be the everyman?
Yep. He's just every man. Every guy. Every guy in the
So, no, talk more about why he had to, like, be out with, like, a pickup truck in the middle of the field.
Well, because he was the enforcer.
Uh-huh.
And he wanted everyone to know that he was the enforcer and that he was gonna... People didn't come to his liking, he was gonna enforce them.
Okay.
I guess.
All right.
I don't know. He's Arn Anderson. He can do what he wants. So let me prepare his little sheet here.
Do our ratings?
Yep. And I do have to say, before we get into it, like, well, I guess it's more like the jump up moments and stuff, but we didn't watch them here, but Arn Anderson is in basically every Wargames match.
Okay.
And most of them, he's like the guy who comes in first.
And he was, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I think that's got to, like...
We've had a lot of, I will say, like, I've had a lot of exposure to him before.
Right. And like I said, also, like, a lot of people yesterday on Twitter were like, this is 30 years ago, the greatest WCW match ever, the Arn Anderson and Zbyszko versus Ricky Steamboat and Dustin Rhodes match. Like that
is a good one.
That's like highly regarded as...
Oh, people on Twitter must be highly regarded.
Well, I mean...
I know what you mean.
You know, like, it's not like
it's recognized.
It's a very, So it's like...
Oh, that's creepy.
It's probably one of the top 4 Arn Anderson matches, so we should recognize it and that, we have watched it.
I gotcha, like to get under consideration.
It's not like we're not taking that into
I also
account.
want to take all of his, like, talk show ones into consideration then, like with the guy with the glitter helmet, the Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah, we could do that also.
Okay, he's starting to, like, creep up on mine in terms of promos.
Yeah, so... Do you need the...
Yeah, in the time.
All right, one time. Hold on, give me a second. So, N is nuance, and it's basically like face or heel, or
He was always the same guy.
Yeah, that's
for better
true.
Or for worse.
I think that's kind of good. I think.
Like we talked about, you know what you're gonna get.
Right.
All right. Let me look together. That's all right. I know. That's fine.
Okay.
You just like take a screenshot of this or copy. You should just copy this into our.
I have, but it's just easier to go. So the N is nuance, which is longevity, flexibility, and intangibles. So longevity.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's there from like 85 through 2000, just with like 1 year break in 88, 89. So
no, I'm gonna okay. Let's go. I know what that means. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay, yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's mostly a heel, but he could work face, like in that Ric Flair tag match, and he's always there.
He's consistent.
Intangibles, he always is very serious, gives a serious vibe to whatever he's in, even if it's something stupid. All right, and then jump up factor. Again, that would be memorable peak matches, moments, and storylines.
Ooh, okay, that's an 8.5.
All right.
What do you give
I'm going to give it... I'm trying to think.
Just because you were reminding
I'm going at least 9. I'm trying to look what I gave. I got to go 9.5.
Wow.
That's what I gave Sting. I can't go more than that, but... Yeah, that's his... Yeah. Because I think, I said,
you're a fan. You like
he's in all
you like the big chubby hairy guys, like VADER.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Is there some projection?
Yeah, I could be an Arn Anderson.
Huh?
I could be Arn Anderson.
No, you're not.
I'm not. No,
from Georgia.
Actually, if I was Arn Anderson, I'd be a year away from retirement because he was 37 when he retired.
Can you please be Arn Anderson?
I wish.
Is he married? What's his personal life like? Does he have a lady friend or?
No, he's had a wife for. Forever. Just one wife forever, and...
She never got involved?
No. He's got a kid that's trying to kind of break in now. Brock Anderson, because that's how you name a kid.
Yeah. Brock was popular, I guess, in the late 80s, because they all kind of came of age, and... this Brock...
Yeah, this Brock's probably from 2000.
Oh, my God. I know. We're all... Did you, not this be a weird aside. Do you know any Brock's personally? Do you know anybody named Brock personally in your sphere?
No, I have a very small sphere.
But you know what I mean, if you call it high school or college or teaching.
I don't know. I know a Dirk. That was kind of.
I know a Dirk.
Weird.
He's older. I know one Dirk. I know someone in my mom's group.
I've taught Kirk. 3 different Beyonces.
3 different Beyonces.
Yeah, and they're all Mexican. 3 different Mexican Beyoncés.
I do not know any Beyoncés personally. I wish I knew.
You got
monogamous Beyonce. I don't know any Brocks. I don't know any Arns.
No.
I don't know any Olies.
No. Those are tough to find.
Well, not Beyonce's apparently.
Yeah. Beyonce's are.
All right. Well, we get a dog one day.
No, I will not allow that.
Why not?
Oh, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna. I'll campaign. We're gonna have a wrestling dog thing.
We're gonna take this off. Oh, come on. Let's take this offline.
Okay. Well.
What's the next letter?
Next would be P, which is promo skills and character work.
Good, not great. I'm slightly ahead of the curve, so I guess an 8.
Okay.
7.5? 8. Playing generous tonight.
I'll go. I'm going to go 8.5 just because I know that for him, his promos, none of them were outside of his retirement one, they were always really good.
Yeah, they're good.
But the fact that he always would have one every week kind of stands out.
Yeah, okay. Once I have a consistent theme here.
Yep. And then W is work rate. And that's the actual...
He's actually a very good wrestler.
Bell to bell in the ring. 8, yeah.
No, he's a good wrestler. I think everybody picked good wrestlers except for Dusty Rhodes. No offense to him.
I agree. So, again, some.
Oh my gosh, just copy it down from the cell above.
What? Okay. So, equals.
SU. There you go. Enter. See, it knows. It knows what you want to do. Enter. There you go.
All right. So, you have
34. You a Cactus Jack.
32 and a half.
I get 34. Yeah, okay. I stand by my Cactus Jack. 34 and a half.
We still have, the highest ranking is still Cindy's Cactus Jack. 34 and a half. She is Cactus Jack, who was my favorite professional wrestler, than I do.
Yeah, but you have Cactus Jack and Arn Anderson tied.
Yeah.
That's, he's good.
It's going to be tough. Like, you only
have Brian Pillman a 29? 20. Okay, I don't know. No, it was good.
You gave him a 28 and a half.
Shush. Sting was good. Yeah, we go with these. Okay.
Yeah. Vader, we were tied. Sting, we were tied.
Lex Luger was not good at promos. Okay.
Yeah, you were down on Lex.
The more I drink, the more generous I get in my ratings.
So
Bobby Eaton, that was a weird one.
For our final thing, do you want it to be our final one, or do you want it to be our next to final WCW?
Wait, what?
Because I do have a standing idea if you want to do Ric Flair for January, not December.
Oh Lord, what are my options? Ric Flair for January. What's my other option?
Ric Flair for December. And for December, if you want to do Ric Flair in January and Mystery in December.
Let's do a Mystery.
All right.
I've seen plenty of Ric Flair. We can wait January for that.
So our Mystery, should I reveal it now?
Sure.
Stunning Steve Austin.
Nice!
So we're going to try and fit. It's kind of tough. We watched quite a few of his big matches already, but we're going to... There will definitely be enough to fit in. I think that'll be a good one to look at.
Okay. I'm on board.
Someone who, he's number 2 in my GWWE wrestler poll ever.
Right. Yeah.
So
who was obviously, I'm not going to ask.
Yeah,
okay.
Randy Savage was 1. Hulk Hogan was 3. I forgot. I know Cena and Bruno Sammartino were my 4 and 5. I don't know what order they were.
What's John Cena doing now? Is he just acting?
Pretty much.
Well,
he might come in for WrestleMania. I don't know.
So he's kind of he's got the
there's kind of tomorrow's Survivor Series I want to watch because there's rumors that it's the 25th anniversary of The Rock. It's in Brooklyn, so it's big enough for him to actually show up to. And eventually, one of these WrestleManias has to end with Roman Reigns beating the shit out of The Rock. So he shows up at Survivor Series to set it up.
All right, well, we'll see what happens.
And then our tribal chief kills him at WrestleMania.
Remember we went to SummerSlam in Brooklyn 2016?
Yeah, that was fun.
Why do you say it so sadly? It was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. I'd like to do it again, but...
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that'll ever happen.
It will.
It will, eventually. Things will get better.
I
forget where... Oh, SummerSlam next year. Nashville. Titan Stadium. July 30th. We'll probably in French Lick, Indiana, won't we?
We could drive down for the night.
All right. Would it be closer than, most places?
Here, yeah. We're closer than where we are physically now.
Yeah, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk to you later, folks.
All right. We're a little bit of a hot mess over here at the other household. Thanks for
we'll take this right
our
next...
5 listeners. Thank you for listening.
Yep. Next month, we will present this ring to Stunning Steve Austin.
Ew. Bye.
Bye.